Going to have a pretty decent forecast that ends up shaping up by that point, but still a couple hit or miss showers out there possible today, though our rain chances are considerably dropping off, and they will as we go through the next couple of hours. Largely that's because our humidity is already starting to come down. It'll feel a lot more comfortable, especially as we go through the day tomorrow, as we return to a little bit more of that sunshine and can finally put away kind of that gloomy look that we've been dealing with the last couple of days. Good news for us, once that humidity comes down, it does bring back a pretty decent pattern change, and so we are going to be talking about some pretty pleasant conditions once we actually get into the weekend. We talked about this stalled out boundary yesterday, the fact that it was really the source of where some of our better moisture was across parts of Northeast Ohio. Well, now it's cleared off towards the east, and we're on the backside once again. All of Northeast Ohio is, and so you're noticing not much in the way of rain coverage. That's some of that drier air that's already starting to work through, but it's not to say can't find a couple of those showers, so we'll watch, especially right along the lake shore there in Cuyahoga County, see if we can't get a couple of those sprinkles. But a lot of this rain has come to a close, and I really think that's going to be the larger trend for us as we continue on into this afternoon. Right now, temperatures where the cloud cover is a bit thicker, mid-60s, but you look out towards Sandusky where we've had a little bit of sunshine so far today, already seeing that temperature rebound lower 70s. We'll talk about where your temperatures and your rain chances go from here headed into the weekend in just a few minutes.
Yes, it's been pretty gloomy and cloudy today. However, the good news is that rain is moving out. 19 First Alert meteorologist Erika Paige joins us. And for tonight's Guardians game, it looks a lot better than last night.
It does, and that's kind of a nice relief, especially for folks that may be headed out to the ballpark. Less planning necessarily strategically for how you may have to bring a couple extra things potentially to keep you a little bit drier. I don't think rain's going to be a huge issue for us. In fact, if you look out over the lake, you can tell we're getting a little bit of clearing, especially farther to the north. And so we'll watch to see how well that continues to become the trend. I think it will be the trend for us largely through today, but you're also noticing a little bit more wave action out on the lake as well. That's that north wind coming in. So even if we do see a little bit of sunshine through the course of this afternoon, it's not going to be an overly warm day, though I will say temperatures, that's kind of the next big thing we're going to be watching, will be turning around once we actually step into your weekend. Temperatures are going to be back well above average for this time of the year as we enter into what I think is going to be a very quiet stretch for us through the final days of September and likely through the first several days of October as well, with above average temperatures continuing to once again be that bigger trend. Right now, most of the rain is clearing off towards the east. It's not to say you can't get a couple of these really spotty showers. We've had a few still lingering across the area late morning now that we're into the early afternoon. But look at how much of Northeast Ohio is dry at this point. Doesn't matter if you're north or south, it's just really not the best rain chance for us as we continue on through the rest of the day today. And I largely think that's going to be the bigger trend. It's not to say that with what little bit of humidity we have out there, if we get a boundary that comes through, you can't get a couple of those showers. I just don't think we're going to have the best forecast to really keep that rain chance alive for us as we continue on into this evening. So as we said, it is a totally different forecast tonight versus what we were dealing with yesterday, at least when it comes to the rain aspect of your Guardians forecast. They take on the Tigers 6:40, temperatures around first pitch, upper 60s. I don't think we'll lose a lot of that temperature reading, especially as we go through the course of the game. But what you are going to slowly notice between tonight as well as tomorrow is a lot of that humidity starting to come down, and that's going to be the bigger key for us. When you combine that with some of those warmer temperatures, it's going to make it feel a bit more comfortable here across Northeast Ohio this weekend. In addition, overnights, they're turning more comfortable as well, more seasonable, about low to mid 50s across the region, with no additional opportunities for rain in sight even as we look ahead towards the early part of this next week. So if you're wanting the sunshine back, you're going to get several days here over the next several.